How should you allocate your tracks when you're working with sound effects? Should you put them all on the same Pro Tools track lined up end to end? If you want them all to sound exactly like you found them, no effects, no ambience, or if you want them all to have the same effect or ambience, then that's an efficient use of the space. Put them all back to back. Insert the reverb plugin on that track, or use our aux system to bus and send, and then they'd all get the same treatment. But what if you plan to process individual sounds? You want them all to be on their own tracks. Does that mean every single sound gets its own track? Sometimes that'll give you an unmanageable edit window. Let's do an exercise that I think will help you think of your sounds in groups. I have this session that I built called Dialog Phone Effects. I looked at the template for Pro Tools post-production, and they're kind of too complicated. I don't want to go there just yet. I want to build a simpler session. So let's look at what we have here. I think you'll understand why I did what I did. Back to the edit window for a second. I have one person talking. This is person A, and I'm talking to person B on the phone. We're having a really great conversation about something that's important to us.
I'm person B, and I'm talking to person A on the phone, and I really am interested in what he has to say.
So I just recorded pieces of me talking. I pitch shifted the second one so we know B from A and put them on their own tracks. Let's say we have this scene in a movie, and these two people are talking, and there are four different perspectives here. There's person A in the room, there's person B in the room, and then because they're on the phone, A will occasionally be listening to B, and we want to be able to use that reaction shot, and then the same thing for B. When he's listening to A, we want to be able to use his reaction shot and hear A as B is hearing him. So for each of these, we need to set up a phone effect so that we're hearing who they're talking to through the phone. So back to the mix window. I set up tracks for A and B, and then B through A's perspective, and A through B's perspective, and then the room each of them is speaking in. So A is going to this room using the bus and send method. That deverb instance is a medium room. This fellow is in a small hall with a 2.2 second decay. And I just used approximate send levels to get them to sound about right. This is person A, and I'm talking to person B, so they feel like they have about the right amount of ambience. Again, you can set that up here. Here's how we got the perspective thing. So B is going to happen through A's perspective, and that's by using this channel strip. So channel strip is a plugin. If I go over here, it's in Dynamics, choose channel strip. And once you got the plugin, go to where it says factory default. You have a bunch of choices here, and one of them is telephone. So I've put that plugin here and there. Back to the edit window. We're going to use our separation grabber so that we can reach inside and extract pieces. So back to the Smart tool. I'm going to zoom just a little bit, Command bracket, and let's just pick a phrase. This is person A, and I'm talking to person B on the phone. Okay, so A is going to say these words. Now notice I'm in grid mode. Close these two windows for a second. I'm in grid mode with a 1 second grid, which is very big. The first thing I want to do is switch to slip mode so that I precisely select what I want. And let's say it's that phrase. We're having a really great, and then I want to switch to grid because if I separate this and drag it down to this track, the chances of me being sloppy and moving it 1 second or the other are really slim. But in slip mode, if I pick this up and I drag it down here, it's very easy to go a frame or two and go out of sync. So let's see what this sounds like now. This is person A, and I'm talking to person B on the phone. I don't hear anything through there. I have to figure out why. It's coming out bus 1 and 2. That's why. I think we're good now. Let's double check that. This is person A, and I'm talking to person B on the phone. We're having a really great conversation about something that's important to us. Okay, And then let's take the same tool and we'll pick this phrase here.
And I'm talking to person, and I'm talking to person.
And then I'm going to switch to grid. I'm going to slide this up and it stays on the grid. I'm wiggling my mouse, but it'll only move if I go way over here, and that would be really sloppy. I've slid off the grid. Let me undo that and slide back up. And if you're careful, you can keep it where it belongs. If you slide too far one way or the other, it's going to snap to the grid. But you're trying to use a very large grid slice to keep it from doing that. Actually, I went a track too far, didn't I? I want it to be on that track. So we know what that sounds like. We're having a really great conversation about something that's important to us.
I'm person B, and I'm talking to person A on the phone. And
Now we have a little bit of a level mismatch, which we can easily fix by changing the fader levels. But we processed this audio using tracks versus selecting a piece of audio up here and hitting Audio Suite and process. There's nothing wrong with this system except that it's not very efficient. If I want to change something or change the actual words that use this effect, let's say they change the cut, make it a little shorter, make it a little longer, that's easy to do here. I can just add a little more audio into the track with the effect and get that done. It would be a lot harder if I had processed the audio and kept it on the same track. So that's a bit about dialogue in the context of sound design. Next up, we'll work with sound effects.